Welcome to another episode of Krazy Knights, the Australian Kiss podcast. I'm one of your Krazy Knights co-hosts, Jamie McNichol, and joining me as always to my left or right, whatever way you want to put it, is David Fowler. How you going, David?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Jamie. How's your day been?
Yeah, it's been good. We're just recording this after our last episode that we just done about the Kiss Expos of Tommy Thayer's predicting a deluxe edition, and I have to admit, I love stirring the crap out of you, David, on that episode. I've been listening to it.
Yeah, well,
But it was all good. And
I still believe that they should re-record Hotter Than Hell, but
and,
well,
and you wanted to change the name, you wanted to replace
nah,
Tommy.
I never
And Eric.
said change the name.
So yeah, I'm just stirring you again. But no, yeah, guys, go and check that out if you haven't already done so. But David, I have put a teaser up on our podcast page of a clip from '92 from the Revenge tour,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to get the fan to find out what are we going to be speaking about on this show. Well, just about a couple of hours after that, I put a photo up, and it's one of the dancers from that show, and we have her on this podcast all the way from the USFA. It's Rachel. How you going, Rachel?
I'm fine. How are you guys?
We're going awesome, and I have to admit, David and I are on our best behaviour. So any fans out there that are going to be listening to this show, do not ask us questions that we cannot keep. Okay. But no, Rachel, it's a pleasure and it's an honour.
Thank you.
We've been talking for this first half of the year about your connection with Kiss. You're also great friends with Steve Cornell, or you're in contact with Steve Cornell as we speak, and we want to capture not just the moment for you. I mean, everybody's saying, oh, you know, they should do that song again with the strippers and whatnot on their tours at the moment. But we're going to shy away from that for a minute. We just want to find out how you got involved in the first place, because you were saying to me, leading up to the interview here, you knew the guys before they actually called upon you to do that. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was basically from hanging with Eric Carr, Gene's bass tech at the time, and a guy named Tommy Thayer, that was in Black and Blue.
Yes.
And just from hanging around, I've done a lot of things, from actually mixing Gene's blood to being asked, hey, come on, this will make, the show better. And that's how it happens.
So that would have been around the Hot in the Shade era when you saw Tommy Thayer and Eric Carr, or you knew them around the Hot in the Shade, Krazy Knights, Hot in the Shade?
Yeah, Hot in the Shade, Krazy Knights, up until the reunion tour. I mean, all those tours. I don't have my backstage passes from all of them because I would just get, put them on my jeans and just dump my jeans in the wash. I didn't know Kiss would be around for 40 years.
Yeah.
It's amazing to me.
It is. I mean, just looking back at history, it just feels like another lifetime has just gone by. I mean, who would have thought 20 odd years ago Hot in the Shade was out? And now here we are, the back in makeup and doing Monster.
Exactly. I marvel at Gene's energy still. He's 64. He wears over 40 pounds of costume. And Paul, with his issues, the physicality of the show,
Yeah.
they still give it their arm around the ship. Come on.
Yeah.
They're
No.
old, you know.
Yeah.
I'm old.
Well, I'm a young and Dave is an old one, so.
Hey, hey.
But hey, no. I'm respecting my elders here. I'm respecting my elders. It's all good. But I have to say this: how I got into
Mm,
Kiss in '95 was that performance of that particular song from Revenge called "Take It Off."
mm.
Now, how do you came into that scene? How do you get into the dance scene? And was that your ambition, or was that your choice to do before they asked you to do it as a profession?
I was actually a dancer at a club in Austin. The roadies would come in during the day and like scout out girls that, just like Gene. I think I saw Gene say that Eric Singer could pick a girl out for, there's one for you, there's one for you. It was like that. I mean, people may think it's objectifying women, but uh, I had two children to feed,
Yeah,
so and it was fun too. I like to dance. I've always been a dancer,
yeah.
and now I'm not, but it goes on through my family.
Well, you do hold a piece of history. I mean, you have to admit. I mean,
Well, I wasn't really aware until someone at a pre-party from the cruise showed me a picture, and it wasn't of me. They said, "That's you in the white," and I said, "Well, no." And was that you? I didn't know I was in some magazine, and I've got videotapes, but it's been such a long time that you know I wasn't aware. I was aware, and I'm aware that Kiss they do tape every show.
yeah.
And I was like, oops, I forgot that. So,
But I just have to say, are you flattered that you're now getting recognised compared to what 92 Revenge Tour was?
yeah, yeah.
I know. I
Back
mean, I know why you're getting recognised for, but are you getting flattered that people still recognise that compared to behind the scenes, like we're speaking about here on Crazy Nights?
I guess it's flattering. I mean, I've heard a couple of things, and it makes me giggle. But yeah, it's very flattering to think that, oh, yeah, I'm a piece of history. I, you know, I've just, through the years, um, forgotten about it and just uh, awakened to it through the internet and the the Kiss Cruise and so on.
Well, David, before I go on to any more
Yep.
questions, you would like to jump in and ask a question?
Well, but on the Kiss Cruise, Rachel, what did you think of it when you got there?
What
What what how
I
did?
was completely comfortable on the cruise.
Mm-hmm,
Um, it's like being with a second family.
mm-hmm,
And I got into my outfit for Halloween early because I had heard there wasn't a lot of time in between the sail away show and getting ready for Halloween. So I did that, and you know, everybody was kind of like, she's already ready. But yeah, the Kiss Cruise it's crazy. I was in an elevator with Shannon and her mother, and her mother was a little yellow M&M, and Shannon
I was
asked
about,
me what
I was about to say, did she taste like chocolate? But we're not going there. We're not going there.
she meant. So I told her.
Now, on the Kiss Confidential, how they had the girls all lined up against the wall.
Uh-huh.
with that, is this true that they only picked a certain, like, there must have been 20 so women in that dressing room before the show? Was that randomly picked at the Auburn Falls concert? Like, there was only five, well, that ended up being three on the stage. Is that true? There was three, or there was more than three?
Well, I mean, there was more,
Yeah.
but you know, it was they were, they kind of like when Paul fell out in Saboba. I was there,
Mhm.
and Gene asked for the children to come up, and it was basically like, who wants to go on stage with us?
Mm.
And a lot of people, they shy away from that. They don't want to be known as a stripper, or that they did that back in the day, you
Mhm.
know. Um, but it was just, hey, we need a show. We're ugly guys who would like to be a pretty girl on stage, you
Yeah.
know.
Mm.
And there's all kinds of antics going on. It was back in the day, the 80s and the early 90s. And it was, nobody was married at the time.
I think
So
I think Bruce was married at the time, wasn't he?
I don't know. I know, well, the major, let's say Paul and Jean.
Yeah.
And who knew Jean was going to get married
Yeah.
ever?
Mm. Well, he should have married Shannon a long time ago compared to what has been documented now the last 2 years, and took him a
Yeah,
long
what?
time.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
what she's had to put up with.
a
a
lot of
lot
crap,
of a lot of stuff. Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah,
stuff, a lot of stuff. And do
yeah.
you blame her? I mean, she must have knew what she was in for leading into getting with Jean. She must have knew, I mean, there's highs
Well,
and lows in everybody's career, and I'm pretty sure Shannon must have knew exactly what she was going in for. He's a rock idol. I mean, Shannon's been in soft porn herself,
exactly.
so
Ex-
you got to understand. I've been saying to fans, you got to understand that they're both on the same playing field. She can't really complain about James sleeping around when she's done it on film. But
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, he told her, he showed her the pictures. He would take a Polaroid camera and take pictures of anyone who would get naked.
mm,
Um, and he has told her, this is what I did.
yeah,
And I think when they started living together, um, you want to think your partner doesn't screw around,
yeah,
but back inside of your head, you know,
mm.
and you don't want to deal with it till it's in your face.
Well, around the revenge tour, you both had Nick and Sophie born. Sophie was just born around the revenge tour,
Right. And
and that,
Nick,
yeah,
you've seen the what is that? What is Gene sitting there with two basically dominatrixes that are in the background, but you don't see their faces.
yeah,
Then he shows Nick's "I'm his daddy" or something, or Gene Simmons is my daddy T-shirt.
mm,
Uh, yeah, I've seen that one.
You know, um, he's a rock star. What do you expect? You were a Playboy, Playgirl, Playmate, whatever,
yeah,
Playboy bunny.
yeah,
What do you expect? I
mm,
mean, it's just they're. I mean, they're two of a kind. They're fit for each other. Don't want to know
mm,
that information. And then when you see it, jealousy hits. I mean, jealousy, jealous rage almost, probably.
Mm.
mm.
So,
Well, I want to talk about that performance that now at Detroit. I believe there was a different law compared to the other states on that tour in America. Some were allowed to strip fully, some were allowed to go topless, but you girls on that stage, you didn't do that. Was that due to the law of the state in '92?
Yes, I mean, I'm a more burlesque type stripper,
Yeah.
and back in the day, not now.
No.
To where you would wear layers, and things like that. That we did that too, and also, I mean, to get a video to the masses,
Mm.
you can't. It probably would have been rated beyond R, like an NC non-rating, which is more like an X rating
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
in the States.
Mm.
So, yeah, you can't just, you see topless women more in the audience than on the stage.
Yeah.
you know, it's just, you can't go there on the stage, but backstage is a whole different
Different
ball.
ball game.
Well, well,
and and tour buses and limos. That's
mm,
different.
well, yes. I mean, here in here in Australia in '95, I was 15 at the time when I saw my first Kiss concert, and they had, I believe it was a rumor in Perth. I don't know about Melbourne where you from, David. When I was living in
Yeah.
Perth, they
Mm-hmm.
had got these strippers from a bikie club that was in the strip bars at Perth, and they were allowed to go completely nuts on stage. They had about close to 10 women on stage. My sister was like 12 at the time. I'm 15. My mum take me to my first concert. Said, "Jamie, sit down." But mum, they got no clothes on. But mum, they got no clothes on. And I gotta say, '95 got me hooked. And you can say yes, the strippers did some of it, but when they came out of the Leon mouth and they walked out of the mouth of the Finks and the lasers and
Uh-huh.
that, I was hooked. But top it
Mm.
off, yeah, I saw my
Yeah.
first naked woman on stage with my mum and my sister at the age of 15.
I know in Melbourne they got the girls from the dancers from Bar 20. Most I think were they're the ones they used on stage here, but they went a little bit further than obviously what they did on Confidential and
Yeah,
what
they did.
Rachel
They
did.
did.
Yeah, from
Yeah.
I can't remember how many they ended up using. I have to look back at the footage.
I believe Gene got a little bit friendly. Gene and Paul, and especially Eric, got a little bit friendly on that tour too,
I have.
especially at
Eric
Perth.
Eric Singer or what? Eric Metzinger or Eric Carr
Eric Singer.
No,
Eric Singer.
Eric Singer.
Singer?
Yeah, Eric Singer
Yeah.
was on that, and
He seems to disappear sometimes in Australia. Like he just like goes off and almost didn't make it back on stage sometimes.
well,
Yeah,
here I'll tell you a
He's
funny story that happened here in Adelaide just recently on the Monster tour, and they played the first set. It was in between getting off after Black Diamond and coming back on to play the encore. We all know that Eric Singer doesn't wear platform boots while he plays the drums. It's impossible to wear platforms and play the drums, so he wears these sneakers. Well, my partner and I were on the side of the stage. We won 2 meet and greets, but we had like platinum seating on the side of the stage, watching the whole concert from Tommy Sayer's side of the stage. Behold, he puts back on the platform boots and he trips over the electrical cords.
oh
In all full costume,
no.
platform boots, he tripped over. Well, leading up to the concert, we're in the meet and greet tent. The 3 other guys were in the tent. Jane was the first, followed by Paul and Tommy. Well, here goes Eric Singer. Completely walks past the meet and greet tent and goes up the dirt track. The head management went to chase after him. Even Shannon was bolting after Eric because he was just wandering off. He just wanted to go somewhere on his own. So, but yeah, you're right. Eric seemed to wander off, and here in Australia, especially in '95, and I saw him with Bruce Kulick on the Unholy tour with the clinic, the drum and guitar clinic. Janie's right. He can eye a good set of breasts a mile away. And I believe Eric was dating a girl in Perth at one stage. Is that true, David?
Well, I know on the when they came out here for the Australian Grand Prix and all that, obviously they did that documentary Hysteria and all that, and apparently after one show, I can't remember what city it was here, that he went missing, and then they tracked him down in Wellington or something about doing that Rock to Wellington gig or whatever. But
that was all stage.
Yeah. Well,
he's got a little sweetie or something over there.
Well, I do know this for a fact that Eric was dating a girl here in Australia who now has been split up and engaged to be married to a chef called Manu. Now, so that just happened just recently. But going back to the '95 concert, we had 7 to 10 girls at Perth. I don't know how many you guys had, David, but I know I think it
was quite a few.
Yeah, but I want to ask Rachel: do you only did one show, or do you did multiple shows?
2.
That you can remember of.
That I know, and I mean, but hang, but
You there, Rachel? You're going a bit quiet there. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, there you go. You just went dead there.
Yeah.
The question again was, do you did multiple shows or just one show on the Revenge?
Two of them.
2. So the both nights at Auburn, was it?
I'm sorry?
The both nights at Auburn? At Detroit?
Detroit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I mean, you guys had 2 shows at Melbourne too, Dave. We only have one.
No, yeah, two shows. Yeah, that's right, on the Kiss My Ass Down Under tour. Yeah, plus the convention as well. So kind of 3, but yeah, 2 actually live performances at arena shows.
Well, I'm going to put an open question for the whole 3 of us here.
Yeah.
And I want Rachel's opinion, your opinion, Dave, and I'll put mine at the end. Do you like to see Take It Off back in the set list?
Yeah, but I don't know whether they do it actually now. I mean, that was back then. It's now. I don't know whether let's just say the wives would allow it.
Yeah, that would be a non-allowed song.
Yeah,
I call it Yoko. It's a Yoko Ono song. No.
Yeah, it's due to the fact that Kiss has now become more family orientated now with Hello Kitty and all of that. With the Revenge, they were more aggressive. They basically came from the streets, basically in the black leather, having an attitude and all that. And do I miss it? Oh, you better believe I miss it. Not because of the dances and all that. I just miss the image like Kiss had in '92. I miss that. And I believe most of us have got a favourite moment, and that was one of my favourite moments of Kiss 40 years.
The black leather, what really, I mean, Gene got me into, like, his jewelry. Even Paul, I'm into jewelry, real jewelry, costume jewelry. Yeah, I miss that image of him, looking, the black leather, well, I've seen them in the 80s too, where they were more like glammed out.
Yeah.
And
as Gene said, he looked more like
his So
Phyllis Dillers.
the,
Yeah,
the ugly cousin of Phyllis Diller, or the
Yeah.
FE instead of the F or.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he got buff-on hairdo that goes way up here, and yeah. My mum calls me a buffhead now and again with my hair, and even David and my partner. And, yeah, I'm a buffhead, and I'm proud to be one. I mean, hey, I do
Yep.
it for the right reason, David. I do it for the right reasons.
Yep. Rachel, were you a massive Kiss fan as a young girl?
Yes, I wrote on another Facebook page. I kind of wrote how I got into Kiss. I had a best friend in middle school. This was like 6th or 7th grade. And we lived in a little town. And I live in Texas. And we're in the Bible Belt. My family was Southern Baptist, very conservative. You only listen to like the Carpenters, Barry Manilow, he sang me a song one time. I love Barry Manilow. That's my secret pleasure.
Hey Rachel, you and I got something in common. Barry Manilow was the very first performer I actually listened to on an LP when my dad played it for me.
He
Yeah,
actually,
yeah, Mandy.
he is just like, he sang me a song. I mean, he just came down to like the 4th row, and
I
all these
write the songs that make the whole world sing. Yeah, that song.
Yeah, he sang "Could It Be Magic" to me, which is just like, oh, because it uses one of my Christian names,
Yeah.
and that sweet Melissa, and one of my middle name is Melissa, and I just like melted, But I was my best friend in middle school was into Kiss. And so the way I had to listen to Kiss is I would have to ask to go over to her house and visit with her and have sleepovers. And her room was plastered with Kiss posters. And I was very afraid of Gene. So I would look at Paul. And Paul is my favorite member because he didn't scare me as much as Gene.
Yeah.
And I actually got kicked out of my church for Baptists don't dance. And I was listening to music by Jews, and I was kicked out of my church.
Oh God.
But it made me who I am. Kiss made me who I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could they can kiss it for all I care, But it's weird.
So how do you get into friendships with Steve Cornell? As people know, Steve Cornell was a high school buddy of Gene and also in a band with Gene and Paul.
Right. And he had a band called Lover back in the day. I actually have a very big crush on Steve Cornell. I've always had it since like he was in Wicked Lester. I would look at him instead of Gene and Paul. I mean, he was like my fantasy guy, and I would
Okay.
always wonder, what happened to Steve Cornell? I thought he'd be like a session musician, and he's an architect that lives in Connecticut.
Yeah.
But just through Facebook, I was like, I wonder if Steve Cornell is on Facebook, because I actually, and he's like, you're kidding me, you're Josh, get out of here, And I think he got enough liquor into him one day or one evening, and he rang me up on the phone. And I had to hear your voice. I just can't believe you did this, And I'm like, yeah, I did it. And, you just I just had like this crush, I wonder whatever happened to this guy, And you just wonder about people,
Well, David,
So,
you received a letter from Loretta Carr for Eric Carr's funeral, didn't you?
I did, yes. Basically, at the time, I had a pen friend back when you actually wrote to people on letters, and she was telling me she was putting together this memorial she was going to give to Loretta after Eric's death, and uh, so I basically got all the obituary notices from our paper, fans sort of, sending, their condolences and, grieving and all that to April. Her name was April. And about probably 3 to 4 months later, I received like this card. It was like a card thing in the mail, and it was on the front. It had from the family of Eric Carr, and this little note on the front of it. But then on the flip side of it, Loretta actually, said, addressed to me and said, Eric had loved all his fans, and then signed it from Loretta. So I was kind of quite blown away from that as being a fan. It kind of made me tear up as well. That Eric dying, and it still does sort of affects me a bit.
And that's a question I ask you, Rachel. How did it affect you once you heard about Eric Carr's death? Hello?
Um,
Oh, yeah. It's gone dead.
I'm here. I'm
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
I'm wiping away tears.
yeah.
Um, I miss him. I think about him almost every day.
Yep.
Um, he was just the most. How did it affect me? It still affects me to this day.
Mm,
Yeah.
Um, by someone so sweet, and he changed. Meeting him changed my life.
yeah.
I was very stuck up. Gene and Paul were stuck up. They wouldn't talk to anybody during those the 80s.
Yeah.
It was Eric. They put Eric. I mean, they didn't put him out and to talk to people. He just went out of his way to talk to people. He he had empathy for people that I've never seen that in anyone other than well, myself. I've just I met him and I wanted to be like him.
Mm,
And that's why I'm talking to you, because the person that met Eric Carr the first day would never talk to people. I was like stuck up. I thought I was just the hottest thing. And he just taught me, I had to remind him that he was a rock star. I kept telling him, why are you coming to my, you know, he would come and do road laundry at my apartment. And I'm like, why do you do this? Why me? I've got a little crappy car. And um, he's like, I don't care. And he was genuinely a caring person. He signed all I had when I first met him was a ticket to the Kiss show, a piece of paper,
mm,
and
Yeah.
he signed the back. But over here, they give you like free food if you turn your ticket stub in that night,
Mm-hmm.
that like a free taco or free hamburger or something.
yep.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't want to screw you out of your starving. Some days I didn't have food, he told me. I was that guy that was actually a starving musician. I had my drums, but I didn't have food.
Mm.
Mm.
And that was Eric Carr.
We have heard stories about Eric Carr giving up his own hotel food for a homeless person that was walking down on the street below
Yeah,
the the homeless. And
Mm.
when I heard that story, it's like, this is just a genuine guy. And you're right. I don't think Gene and Paul has basically mingled with the fans as much as what Eric did in the 80s, and then Eric passed the torch on to the other boys, especially Bruce Kulick, who was a well open person, down to earth person, and now Gene and Paul are starting to get on that bandwagon. I mean, yeah, you probably have to
Yeah.
pay them $1,500 for a meet and greet, or be in the right place at the right time. But they are well respected. They polite. They're not rude. If you're rude, you're gonna get rudeness back. But they're
Right.
polite, and they
Mm.
do say that we're their bosses. Well, if we're their bosses, why do we have to pay for them? You know,
Yeah.
Oh,
you know.
yeah.
But that's a politics side. I'm not into the politics side, but no, just hearing that story, that's like blown away. And
Mm.
unfortunately, David and I didn't get to meet Eric Carr.
Yeah,
That's
unfortunately, I was too young back in 1980 when they came out here. I think I was 9 years old, and I mean I wanted to go, but my parents wouldn't let me go to the show. Even back when they came back here, 15 years later, went and was getting tickets for the show, and I met my neighbour at the bus stop. So no, and I told her what I was doing, and they said, "Oh, I would have taken you with my sons." And I told my parents that, and they said, "Nah, still wouldn't let you go." Well, yeah, it was just sad that we didn't get to meet him because around the Hot in the Shade time too, they were rumoured to be coming out here to do this concert, which
Joe Cocker in
apparently
excess.
Joe Cocker in excess,
mm,
but someone forgot to tell Kiss that they were coming, but so that didn't happen.
There actually
Would
is
have
a
been nice
flyer.
to meet Eric.
There actually is a flyer around, hanging
Mm,
around, and if we can find one, we'll post it up on our Facebook page. There was a flyer, an advert for it, and it actually had Kiss
mm,
and Joe Cocker, and it was advertised. And
mm,
but let's get on the positive. I mean,
wow.
God bless Eric Carsol, but
Yeah.
you know,
mm.
I want to ask Rachel, do you still have that dress, that zebra dress? I know it probably won't fit you now, but do you still have it hidden away in the closet somewhere?
Um, I don't know. I'm like right now in a room with a bunch of trunks and old costumes that I've kept. Um, I don't know. I would have to go through some stuff, and
The
I
reason
know.
the
Uh-huh.
reason why the reason why I'm asking, maybe you can auction that off.
No,
I don't know.
I,
I don't think so.
No,
I've
no, no,
I've got.
no. Well, what I'm trying to say is, Kiss could probably do a Kiss museum with all the memorabilia and all the costumes and that, and that 92 Revenge Tour, bang, you'll have it there, you know, with just a photo of you in the background, you know.
Oh,
Who
gosh.
knows? It's a thought. It's
Yeah,
a thought.
it's a thought. Yeah, I'd have to go through. I'm looking at these boxes, and I know I've got the first top that I met Gene Simmons in.
What?
But
What? I'm hearing a story that was a black top. Am I right? It was just complete black.
a black top?
Yeah. No, it wasn't black.
No, I had a white top. It was like a
Hey,
white
there you go.
white corset.
There you go, David. She's a Collingwood supporter.
yeah,
Black and white. There you go.
yeah.
She's a Collingwood supporter. There's one for me, none for the team here in Aussie rules. But no, it's all good. But no, I just thought, yeah, why not auction it off? You might do a meet and greet. Well, actually, have you actually met other Kiss fans on the street?
Oh yeah, I mean I've
And that
I've
question
met.
always get asked. I know you. You're the one that danced on the pole. You know, not that type
I
of pole.
I don't get noticed on the street. I don't.
Do you
I'm
get it?
just I'm
Do,
just here, but
do you
I
ever
get
do you
I
ever get
get noticed.
embarrassed? Do you ever get embarrassed?
No,
No, that's good.
no,
That's good.
no.
We're
I
not here.
mean, I'm proud of what I've done, and I can tell my kids, hey, this is what I did, like it or not. Um, they're old enough to
Understand.
understand
Yeah.
and comprehend it. So,
I was
you
on
know,
stage with the hottest band in the world, but look what they made me do.
no, look what they made me do.
You know. I mean, how awesome would that be? I mean, I can't even get up on stage to wiggle my tongue out like Gene does, let alone do what you did.
Well, I mean, I was used to doing it.
Mm.
You know, whether it was in a club or there. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know how many thousands of people
Mm.
were there, and I never thought hundreds or maybe millions of Kiss fans would ever see it.
Well, maybe
You
now
know,
you can write a book about it. That's another opportunity. That's another idea. They can write an
uh,
autobiography. All these autobiographies are coming out now, so you may as well do one.
I'm waiting for Paul's book to come out, and
Yeah.
I didn't buy Peter Chris's book because,
We had well, that, David. I
I,
want to say this. I want to just
yeah.
go off a bit of topic here for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see my wall yesterday about a status I put up about Ace and Peter not being involved in the new
Oh, yeah.
documentary movie?
That one. Yeah.
Oh, what about the hate mail that I got from the fans, even from one of our own here in Australia? Say, I bet you if they came out to Australia, you'll be the first person to go. I said, but that was 3 years ago. Ace Frehley came here 3 years ago. It's totally different now. They
Mm.
shot themselves in the. They shot them, and even
yep,
you, Rachel, you even saw my status.
yet
About
again,
Ace and Peter not being involved, and I'm saying they only got themselves to blame. They shot themselves in the foot. That's the same as their Kiss career.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
I wasn't bashing Ace or Peter. I was just saying by the facts they don't want to be there. The same as the Kiss career. They
Well,
didn't
and
want to be there because
that's had that.
Ace was playing poker game when Sweet Pain was made, or
Mm.
Peter can't drum on the Dynasty album because his producer for the solo record, who ended up um, producing Dynasty, saying that you're a crap drummer, Peter. We've got to get Anton Fig. You can't drum anymore.
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
it was more, more power to them. It's up to them what they want to do in their life, and yeah,
Well,
and they had the opportunity and they didn't take it. So
it's like this. I know this for a fact, and I'm only going on by facts and truth here. Whether I'm right or wrong, I'm only going on the fact that was given to me and to Krazy Knights. Ace and Peter had a massive falling out with one another early this year.
mm,
That is
mm,
the sources that told us, and we're going by that, and it's true. Now it goes back to the reunion tour. If
mm,
Ace was
hmm
getting more money than Peter, Peter would crack the Wobblies. Now, if Peter found out if Ace was getting more money than him in this documentary movie, all
mm,
crap will hell break loose. But it's not about their performance. That if it wasn't for Ace and Peter, the Kiss wouldn't be here.
yeah,
I know that. I know that. But
mm.
would you rather sit at horror conventions signing autographs or going out and making a movie, making a CD or something like that?
Mm.
and the greatest band, and when it was good, it was good, and when it was bad, it was
It was,
awful.
Yeah.
yeah,
And uh, but they're just like a dysfunctional family, is what it is.
mm,
If you think about it, Peter's off moaning and groaning all the time. He's pity party Peter, or I call him the sourpuss of Kiss, and he's he's not the cat man anymore. He's the sourpuss. And Ace, God, he just can't figure out how to budget his money or something because he had it, and well, it comes down to abuses of substances and alcohol, I believe. with both of them.
Well, I can't talk. I've been in the same boat with Ace 13, almost 14 years ago. Right? I was on substance and alcohol, big time.
Well,
I went to rehab. I know what Ace is going through, but don't blame the alcohol and drugs. That's only a small problem. It's the person itself is the problem that needs to be fixed. But he's done that. He's been sober for like 7 years now. So I'll pray for him. You know, he keep going. But let's hope something at the end of the tunnel. If they want to come out and say something, they can. I mean, I'm not stopping them. I just thought the book that they both ripped was a wine fest. Or Gene's a sex addict, or Peter saying, "Oh, Gene and Paul ripped me off." It was a wine fest. I don't care about that. I don't want to know how much money Ace got on the reunion tour. I don't want to know that. I want to know why he got electrocuted on the 76 tour, you know, or the 77 tour. I want to know why he got electrocuted. I know why. He touched a railing, coming down the stairs, boom, it was a live fuse and got electrocuted. That's what I want to know.
That's what. I mean, that's why I want to read Paul's book, because by all sounds of it, from the interview he did on TV here in Australia, it's going to be a very much more positive sort of
every time he
book
comes
where,
every time he comes to Australia, he always say we welcome that. Well, the girls welcome him with open arms and legs. Did that ever happen to you, Rachel?
With Paul?
No.
Paul?
Don't answer that question. No, just there's a rumor going, or not a rumor. It's a joke that always happens here in Australia when Gene and Paul and the boys come to Down Under. They always love Australia, so that we greet them with open arms and legs. Not the guys, the girls. You know.
But yeah, no, it should be an interesting read. At least he said that he wants it, being so positive so that his kids can read it and all that as well, and at least see what it was like, but from a positive standpoint.
Well, just before we wrap it up, as we mentioned these books, have you got the Nothing to Lose book, Rachel?
The Nothing to Lose? Yeah, I have it. I'm not halfway through with it, but I've started, Steve Cornell was in the front, and I'm like, yay, I've got a big crush on him, and I've got some of it read, not half, but I'm well into it.
I've only just started to read it. I'm not taking over the book as such because my partner got it for me for my birthday present. She's going to read the book before I can actually get my eyes on it, but she said, Jamie, you can read the first 7 chapters, and you're right, Steve Cornell probably in about a couple of pages, and that's it.
Yeah, well, he's in the front, and then there's quotes from him also kind of throughout the book, because he is best friends with, like Gene, when he proposed to Shannon, said she's his only friend.
Yeah.
Steve and Gene are very tight for 50 years. And I have nothing but admiration for Steve. At the one impersonating Steve Cornell.
Seriously?
Yes.
Someone impersonating?
Yeah, he was. I don't know if he charged, but like people put up pictures. Hey, this is me with Steve Cornell, and people started telling me, and I'm like, well, somebody needs to tell Steve Cornell why. They all know I like, have a crush on him. So, today, he said, well, you heard, and I'm like, yeah, crazy. And that's about all we've talked about it. But, Kiss fans can get nutty. And there was a guy impersonating Steve at the Kiss convention.
Wow.
I mean, that's...
Because Steve's a big guy. He's like 6'1", and he's got bigger pecs. He's got a set of guns on him. He's bigger than Paul Stanley. like as
Yeah,
far as body wise, you know.
I
Wow.
saw
He
that.
works
Yes,
out.
I saw that little video he put up his page about a month ago where he's doing that little handshake thing with with Gene.
They've been doing
I
that for
thought it was quite
years at
funny.
high
Yeah, I
school.
know.
The
That's
secret,
from high school.
that secret
Yeah.
handshake.
Yeah, I
Which I,
told him it was going to be something dirty in it. I said, I know there's going to be something dirty in it, and of course,
mm,
but
But hey,
I know.
you,
it's good.
kisses,
Good that
kisses
they
always,
still.
kisses always about sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Well, that's what they do. I mean, look at
Not
you,
much.
look at you for all things, Rachel. You were dancing with Kiss.
Well,
You
not
would,
the drugs.
yeah.
Not the
No, no,
drugs part. Even
no.
even on the cruise, like I went. My cabin mates were late for the picture, and so I went to the bar that was right there. You know where you take your picture. There's a bar. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
Mhm,
what it's called, what room it is, but um,
mhm,
I bellied up to the bar for a. I was going to get like a Bloody Mary because it was in the morning,
mhm.
and Gene steps out and gives me the Gene look, like doesn't even shake his head. And I'm like, cancel my order, please, because he can berate you with his eyes. He's like, what are you doing bellied up to the bar in the morning? And I'm like, okay, but I don't know. I'm not going on this cruise because I do have a daughter who
Mhm.
is a dancer
Mm.
Okay,
and probably going to be a professional. And I
that's good.
missed her performances on the last cruise, and so I have to go this time and be with her.
That's
So
fair enough. Yeah.
yeah, she wants to be an aerial dancer, like I tried to get her to go to the tour where the
Mhm.
aerial dancers are like the girls that Motley Crue had on
Yes.
stage.
Yep. Yes.
All right. Okay.
You she wants to be like in Cirque du Soleil or something
Uh,
and dance in the air. So
mhm.
they're called aerial dancers. So we'll see about that.
Mm.
You know,
Let's hope. Let's hope she makes it.
Yeah. All credit for her. She wants to
Mm.
follow her mother's footsteps in that dance.
nah,
No,
probably
not
not that, but
not the
not
strip.
that,
Not
but
the stripping. I'm talking about the aerial. It's just another form of dancing. If she wants to do that, all credit for her. All
I,
credit.
I'm happy for her to do just, ballet or, whatever makes her happy.
Yeah.
I'm,
Exactly.
wouldn't,
I
you
mean,
know, I,
what you did in '92 is do a form of dancing, not the clothes coming off. It's do a form of dancing. If that's what you want to do, just dance, whether it's jazz, ballet, tango, whatever. Just, you pass the
yeah,
torch. You pass the torch on to her.
yeah, yeah. I mean, whatever makes her happy, I'm going to, that's Eric Carr told me, support your children if they want to learn how to play an instrument like the drums, let them
Mhm.
bang on your pots and pans, the big thick telephone books that we used to get guitar, and they're great. And but he told me always support your children in whatever they do. That is
Exactly. Yeah.
another thing.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Well, we'd better wrap this episode up. And it's been great talking to you, Rachel. Awesome talking to you. And
this is
David,
nice.
any other last words you'd like to say?
Yeah. I'd just like to also thank Rachel for joining us today, and yeah, it's been great talking to you.
It's been nice talking to you guys, and I'll talk to Steve and see if he'll poke and prod him along to give y'all a call back and a chance to clear the air maybe on this imposter.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Why would somebody want to, in yeah,
Yeah.
be
Man,
an
it's
imposter
just
to Steve, which is yeah, crazy.
I've had fans run my car tags and things like that. So, I told them they get crazy. They want to know everything. and I'm an open book, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
We are crazy. That's why we call ourselves Krazy Knights. But more importantly, we just love Kiss, and anybody who had a part to play in Kiss, you had a part in playing Kiss. It was only minimal. No, it wasn't. It was huge. It was bloody huge. But no, all credit for you, Rachel, and people will be wanting to get your autograph after listening to this show. I can see it coming now. So, you know, or donation to the Kiss Crazy Nights podcast. It goes back to our program. No, it's all cool. It's only joking. Only joking. But anyway, David, we better get cruising. Rachel, it's been an
Yep.
absolute pleasure and an honour to have you. And we can't wait to talk to you again, hopefully in the near future.
Yep. Well, thanks. Yeah. Sounds
Yep.
cool.
Yep. And, guys, please go to our Facebook page at Krazy Knights, the Australian Kiss podcast page. Also, go to our YouTube channel at Krazy Knights 1 and subscribe to us on YouTube and also our iTunes. Subscribe us on iTunes at Krazy Knights on iTunes. We are going to put up all the other episodes up, and we've just been running flat out like a lizard drinking, David and I. We've just been going absolutely berserk. It's been crazy here. Absolutely crazy. But nah, all good. Alright guys, we'll catch you later. And David, I'll be joining you very shortly to talk some more things. So Dave.
Yep, for sure.
Alright guys, catch you next week. See ya.
See ya, Rachel.
Bye-bye.
Welcome to another episode of Krazy Knights, the Australian Kiss podcast. I'm one of your Krazy Knights co-hosts, Jamie McNichol, and joining me as always to my left or right, whatever way you want to put it, is David Fowler. How you going, David?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Jamie. How's your day been?
Yeah, it's been good. We're just recording this after our last episode that we just done about the Kiss Expos of Tommy Thayer's predicting a deluxe edition, and I have to admit, I love stirring the crap out of you, David, on that episode. I've been listening to it.
Yeah, well,
but it was all good. And
I still believe that they should re-record Hotter Than Hell, but well.
And you wanted to change the name, you wanted to replace Tommy.
I never said change the name.
So yeah, I'm just stirring you again. But no, yeah, guys, go and check that out if you haven't already done so. But David, I have put a teaser up on our podcast page of a clip from '92 from the Revenge tour, the back in makeup and doing Monster.
Exactly. I marvel at Gene's energy still. He's 64. He wears over 40 pounds of costume. And Paul, with his issues, the physicality of the show, they still give it their arm around the ship. Come on.
Yeah.
They're old,
Yeah.
I'm old.
Well, I'm a young and David's an old one, so.
Hey.
But hey, no, I'm respecting my elders here. I'm respecting my elders. It's all good. But I have to say this: how I got into Kiss in '95 was that performance of that particular song from Revenge called "Take It Off." Now, how did you came into that scene? How do you get into the dance scene? And was that your ambition, or was that your choice to do before they asked you to do it as a profession?
I was actually a dancer um, at a club in Austin. The roadies would come in during the day and like scout out girls that, just like Gene. I think I saw Gene say that Eric Singer could pick a girl out for.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get the fan to find out what are we going to be speaking about on this show. Well, just about a couple of hours after that, I put a photo up, and it's one of
Hmm.
the dancers from that show, and we have her on this podcast all the way from the USFA. It's Rachel. How you going, Rachel?
I'm fine. How are you guys?
We we're going awesome, awesome. And I have to admit, David and I are on our best behaviour. So any fans out there that going to be listening to this show, do not ask us questions that we cannot keep. Okay, so but no, Rachel, it's a pleasure and it's an honour.
Oh,
We've been
thank
talking
you. It's
for this first half of the year about your connection with Kiss. You're also great friends with Steve Cornell, or you're in contact with Steve Cornell as we speak, and
hmm
we want to capture not just the moment for you. I mean, everybody say, oh, you know, they should do that song again with the strippers and whatnot on their tours at the moment. But we're not. We kind of shy away from that for a minute. We just want to find out how you got involved in the first place, because you were saying to me leading up to the interview here, you knew the guys before they actually called upon you to do that. Is that correct?
yeah, it was basically from hanging with Eric Carr, um, Gene's bass tech at the time, and a guy named Tommy Thayer, that was in Black and Blue,
Yes.
and just from hanging around, I've done a lot of things from actually mixing Gene's blood to being asked, hey, come on, this will make, the show better. And that's how it happens.
So that would have been around the Hot in the Shade era when you saw Tommy Thayer and Eric Carr, or you knew them around the Hot in the Shade, Crazy Nights, Hot in the Shade.
Yeah, Hot and Shade, Krazy Knights, up until the reunion tour. I mean, all those tours. I don't have my backstage passes from all of them because
Hmm.
I would just get, put them on my jeans and just dump my jeans in the wash. I didn't know Kiss would be around for 40 years.
Yeah,
I, you know, it's amazing to me.
it is. I mean, just looking back at history, it just feels like another lifetime has just gone by. I mean, who would have
I
thought 20 odd years ago Hot in the Shade was out? And now here we are.
There's one for you. There's one for you. It was like that. I mean, people may think it's objectifying women, but uh, I had two children to feed.
Yeah,
So, and it was fun too. I like to dance. I've always been a dancer,
yeah.
and now I'm not, but it goes on through my family.
Well, you do hold a piece of history. I mean, you have to admit. I mean,
Well, I wasn't really aware until someone at a pre-party from the cruise showed me a picture, and it wasn't of me. They said, "That's you in the white," and I said, "Well, no." And was that you? I didn't know I was in some magazine, and I've got videotapes, but it's been such a long time that I wasn't. aware. I was aware, and I'm aware that Kiss, they do tape every show.
Yeah.
And I was like, oops, I forgot that. So,
But I just have to say, are you flattered that you're now getting recognised compared to what 92 Revenge Tour was?
yeah, yeah.
I know. I
Back
mean,
then,
I know why you're getting